Still on the State of the Nation, former Governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan joins us now to take a look at the State of the Nation. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. So, first of all, what response do you have for Garba-Shewu's response to the corruption index? I know that 2015 to 2016, it was said that we were at our worst, and you were part of that political party, PDP, that was said to be most corrupt in the history of Nigeria. And then the index has been showing that it's been getting worse over the last 4 or 5 years. What do you say to him?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. Now, yes, I listened to Shehu Garba try to defend Nigeria as a reaction to the Transparency International assessment of Nigeria, which unfortunately seemed to have degenerated, seemed to have gone worse than what it was before. And of course, Shehu's defense was that it is the responsibility of everyone, every Nigerian, whether you're in government or you're not in government, to act in such a way that there will be an improvement in assessment. That is okay, but by my own understanding of this whole issue is that there's a government and there's a government, and the government must take the lead in trying to ensure that we improve on our rating. Yes, every Nigerian will do its own, because there's virtually no aspect of Nigeria now when you say you will not experience corruption. But the government must take the lead. What is the government doing at the highest level of governance in terms of dealing with corruption? Corruption being one of the real major reasons why Nigerians voted for this government. And I think that was what those guys were trying to bring out of him this morning in that program. For me, the government must sit down and look at its own aspect. What are we not doing right that is making this issue of corruption continue to fester year in and year out? And the government must also talk to the citizens and say, look, yes, it's all our responsibility. The citizens, these are the things we expect from you. Yeah. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dr. Uduaghan, you make a very good point there, but having been in government yourself for 8 years, you were governor of Delta State. What would you say is it in government that makes it difficult to fight corruption to a standstill? And can you really follow to what Garba-Shehu has said, saying Nigerians are to blame for the corruption perception index ranking that we find ourselves now? Like they say, people deserve the kind of government it gets. If the government is corrupt, then maybe the people are corrupt too.
You see, I'm not part of the school of blame game. Once you start to concentrate on this blame game, this one is blaming this, the other one is blaming that, you never find solution. I always believe that once there is a challenge, which has the challenge has been thrown at us by the Transparency International, that look, your corruption index is getting worse. So it is, what do we do about it? It is not, oh, it was caused by the private sector, it was caused by the citizens, it was caused by government. No, I don't believe that should be the debate. What do we do collectively? And I still insist, yes, I was in government, and I still insist that the government should take the lead, you know, in bringing out strategies for dealing with it. If we continue to extricate ourselves, no, it wasn't caused by me, it was caused by you, we can never move forward. We'll be getting worse. That's the point I'm trying to make.
How do we get out of this vicious cycle of corruption in Nigeria?
Sorry, how we get out of it?
Get out of this vicious cycle of corruption in Nigeria, both in public and private.
Now, yes, in the public sector, how do we get out of it? We have a lot of structures now. I think some people even believe that there are too many. EFCC, ICPC, police, SSS. We have a lot of structures now. The thing is, how we can get out of it is for those structures maybe to be much more serious than they are now. The attitude, I keep saying that in almost everything we do in this country, we are not succeeding because of the attitude of people, either people working the place or people outside. Now, what is the attitude of people? If the attitude is right, then we might be getting positive results. But if we have a wrong attitude, if we have, oh, I don't even care. After all, they are doing their own wherever they are. So let me do my own where I find myself. Then we will never get out of it. It's just attitude, and it will continue to require education, monitoring, counseling. Those have to be taken very seriously. We have the structures. I can tell you, we have the structures.
Okay, Dr. Uduaghan, I was just wondering that when we look at the state of the nation, one of the things on the top of our list of priorities to deal with is the issue of insecurity, apart from the recent one, which is just the Transparency International's corruption index that has taken the big space in terms of conversation. But insecurity has become one that has been dogging us as a nation for many years now. What is it that will be your thought in terms of what we ought to do? We know that the president has appointed new service chiefs. We know that there is an issue of whether the IG should be leaving tonight or not. What do you think we should be doing? But you will not be able to answer that question now. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, you will help us unbundle this. Okay, we're still on Newsnight. Thanks for staying with us, and we're reaching you all the way from the Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. So let's get back to Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan, former governor of Delta State, who's our guest on this segment of the news. So the question I asked was to do with insecurity. Do I need to repeat it, or you being able to chew on it and can now give us a response, sir?
Yes, if I can recall, you were asking of what should we be doing to be able to deal with so much insecurity that we seem to be having in this country now. I hope I'm right. Hello?
Yeah, I was saying that please
I hope
go
that's
ahead.
the question. The issue of insecurity and what we should be doing.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, a lot is being done. This state of insecurity has been on for several years. Even when we were there as governors, Boko Haram had started, and the various arms of government, especially the federal government, they've designed several strategies to deal with the insecurity. But it seemed not to be abating, or sometimes we are told that things are better, and the next minute it seems to get worse. Now, from my own view and from my own experience, I believe that in addition to what the federal government is doing, we've just changed the service chiefs, which is okay. Many people have been yearning for the change in the service chiefs. We've just changed them, so we need to wait for the result of that change. Prayerfully and hopefully things will be better. But for me, what the area that I think that emphasis is not being put on is the area of the state governors. The state governors, I believe, should do more. And of course, when I was in office, when we used to meet at governor's forum level, I used to stress it that every state governor, yes, we are the chief security officers, without necessarily being in charge of the security chiefs. But as a state governor, we need to do more in dealing with this state of insecurity. How do we do more? You are the state governor. You should at least, in the area of intelligence gathering, you should be able to gather a lot more intelligence. I don't know how much intelligence that has been gathered now. But when I was in Delta, somehow, at a stage, I knew virtually all the criminals in this state. And that is why you're a governor. You're a governor for the good, the bad, and the ugly. You must be able to identify who the criminals are, whether they're in the state or they're out of the state. And you must be able to find a way of engaging them. You don't have to engage them directly. People can engage them. Like when we're in office, when the things were worse, and President Yar'Adua called me there that, look, this is your state. We are producing less than 1 million barrels per day. Just go and try and see what you can do while we are doing that on at the federal level. I mean, we involve a lot of segments of society, religious leaders, traditional rulers, retired military officers. Of course, I had to be talking to them, and they were all involved. Some religious leaders actually entered the creek to go and engage some of these our youths. The traditional rulers entered the creek to go and engage of this our youths. So it is an everybody's business, and the state governors must be on the driving seat in mobilizing the various segments of society that can engage some of these criminals. They are human beings. They are not spirits. They are people, and the engagement process, which should be in the hands of the governors of the state government, must now be stepped up in such a way that we're able to reduce whatever these guys are doing on a daily basis. I think that aspect has not been strong enough. That is my own feeling. And I used to tell some of my colleagues, you don't tell me that, oh, you don't know who is coming to burn down schools and all that. It will be difficult for me to believe, because you are the state governor. During the elections, you know some of these people. After elections, you don't know them, and they start destroying. No. So we must be involved in identifying them and engaging them properly.
Very important points you make there.
Whatever the federal government
yes,
is doing.
very great points you make there. But I'm wondering, with the present structure of governance, where calls have continued to be on the rise as far as the issue of restructuring is concerned, many are saying that with the present structure, you cannot really have a situation where the chief executive of a state can actually be on the driver's seat of ensuring security within his domain. Would you support that restructuring actually would provide that power that governors need to actually fight, insecurity in the country? And would you also agree with those who say the politicization of security has allowed for the security threats to continue to fester? And now we have more and more regional security networks coming up. Do you have concerns about that?
Yes, you see, the regional security outfits that are coming up because there's a gap. And the gap has been created because of so much politics in security. Whether the president is whatever party he is, the governor is with another party, it doesn't really matter. When it comes to the issue of security, they must work together. It doesn't matter whether they are different parties or not. And the president must be ready to see the governors as often as possible, because the governors will now brief him directly. Yes, he gets briefings from the security chiefs, security agencies, SSS and all that. But he should also listen to the governors, and between himself and the governor of a particular state that there's insecurity, there must be some meetings for strategy purposes. And it is those strategy purposes that the president, of course, will discuss with his security chiefs. Now, the issue of restructuring, whether there's restructuring or not, we should not wait for restructuring to deal with our security challenges. We can always deal with security challenges whether we are restructured or we are not restructured. People are not using restructuring as an excuse for insecurity, because if you are talking about restructuring, people have different perspectives of restructuring. Is it geographical restructuring? Is it administrative restructuring? What kind of, is it financial restructuring? What kind of restructuring are you talking about? So that's a different thing entirely. The way we are now, we've been like this for several years, and we can use this structure that we have now to deal with the insecurity that we have in Nigeria. With the governors and the president working together, I believe that we can move forward on the issue of insecurity.
Okay, we have very little time left. In that little time, help us understand. 2023, the road to 2023 is very clear, with all kind of characters coming out of the woodworks aspiring to be the next president of Nigeria. How do we do it in Nigeria such that we will have the best person, irrespective of whether it is southeast, south-south, or northeast, northwest, that will be the next president and manage things properly in the nation?
You see, for somebody who wants to, who will be the president, first of all, we need somebody who, the person must indicate interest. The person must be interested. We are not going to go around to say, oh, please come and be president, and the person will say, oh no, I don't want to be. Then we start begging. We go on our knees, start begging the person. First of all, it must be somebody who is interested and has a program for this country. And the program we must analyze and examine properly and be sure that that person can deliver. Now, yes, the parties have their various constitutional, various arrangements, which may not be uniform.
Okay.
President comes from the north. Okay. This particular.
I am so sorry that I would have to interject. We must go for a break. Thank you very much, former Governor, Dr. Uduaghan.